Dear students, welcome to physics class. Today in this video lecture, we are going to discuss Coulomb's law and Coulomb's law in vector form. So first of all, we will discuss Coulomb's law. Coulomb's law basically deal with point charges. Let us consider we have two charges. First one is positive Q1 and the second one is positive Q2. As we know, if we have two positive charges, then force of repulsion will be there between the two charges. Now if we have two charges, one is positive, another one is negative, so in that case the force of attraction will be there. So what is the amount of that force? That force amount is given by the Coulomb's law. Now these two charges exerting force on each other, so how much force they are exerting on each other, that force is given by Coulomb's law. So let's discuss it here. The force of interaction between two charges Q1 and Q2 will depend on the magnitude of the two charges, the value of the two charges, and it depends between the distance between two charges. So what is the distance between two charges? It's R. So square of the distance between the two charges. So basically Coulomb's law depends on the two parameters. First one, the charges, and the second one is distance between the two charges. So from equation 1 and from equation 2 we can write F is directly proportional to the two charges product of the two charges and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between the two charges. Now to remove this proportional sign, we will use a constant. That constant name is K, and K is known as electrostatic force constant. K is electrostatic force, this K, electrostatic force constant, and the value of K, the electrostatic force constant value, is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. This is for SI system, this value for SI system, and K is equal to 1, K is equal to 1 in CGS system, centimeter, gram and second system, and in SI system the K is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon. This symbol is known as epsilon, EPSILON. This symbol epsilon naught, we will discuss this in detail. The symbol epsilon gives us the resistance to the interaction between the two charged particles. Epsilon is known as absolute permittivity of the medium, permittivity of medium, epsilon naught. So when two charges are exerting force on each other, it means there is an interaction between the two charges. But when these two charges are exerting force on each other, so that time the medium, the air, the other medium, if these charges in the water or in any other medium, so this medium offer resistance, medium offer resistance for interaction, medium offer resistance for interaction between the charged particle. So this resistance that medium offer to the interaction between the particles, that is known as absolute permittivity of a medium. So always when you place two charged particles in the medium, that medium try to reduce the force between the two charged particles. So that is known as absolute permittivity of the medium. So if you see this formula, the K is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. So that is your absolute permittivity of medium, So here this means the resistance offered for interaction, resistance offered by medium, resistance offered by medium between, or you can write against interaction between charge particle. So when you have two charge particle, if you place these two charge particle in the medium, that let's see, the medium is water is in between, we place these two charge in the water. So these water molecules will be there. So these water molecules will offer resistance, they will not allow the interaction between Q1 and Q2. Okay, just like a current, there is a resistance to flow of the charge particle. Similarly, the medium offers some resistance to provoke the interaction between the two charge particle. Okay, so this is the absolute permittivity of the medium. I will make a separate video lecture for absolute permittivity of the medium and the relative permittivity of the medium and some numerical problem. So for this time, you should know what is absolute permittivity of the medium. It is the parameter which offer resistance to interaction between the charge particle. It is just kind of resistance for the force of interaction between the charge particle. Okay, now next we will discuss the dimension formula for epsilon naught. Okay, so now we will discuss units, dimension formula and all this thing. So as we know, F is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught and Q1 Q2 two charges and R square is the distance between the two charges. You have two charges, first one is Q1, second one is Q2 and the distance is R. So I wrote this formula for this diagram. So from this formula you can find out the value of epsilon naught. So 1 by 4 pi F Q1 Q2 by R square. Okay, and as we know, this 1 by 4 pi is constant, 4 is constant, pi is constant. So what is the SI unit of force? That is Newton. For charge, that is Coulomb. So two charges are there, cc, 2 time will come, and R is the distance, so meter square. So this is the SI unit per Newton, Coulomb square per meter square. So this is the SI unit for absolute permittivity of the medium. So similarly we can find for the dimension formula, we can find the dimension formula. So what will the dimension formula? As we know, we will use this thing to find the dimension formula. So you can see here, what is the dimension for force? Newton is for force, so force dimension formula is ml t minus 2, and for Coulomb that is AT, current and time, AT, and for distance it is L square. So finally, after solving, what will you get? You have t raised to power 2 minus 2, so it will become t raised to power 4 here. There is no a, so a square you will separate, and there is no m, only one, that is m minus 1. And what about L? So how many L are there? 3 L are there, and they will invert and it will becomes minus 3. So m is minus 1, L minus 3, t raised to power 4 and a square. So this is the dimensions of epsilon naught. Okay, so next we will discuss the value of dimension formula. This is now we will discuss the epsilon naught value. We will calculate what is the numerical value of epsilon naught. So epsilon naught numerical value will calculate by using this formula. K is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, and we want to find the value of epsilon naught. Okay, but what is the value of K? The full value of K, this thing is equal to, numerically equal to 9 into 10 raised to power 9. Okay, the force constant, electrostatic force constant, is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, and this whole term is equal to 9 into 10 raised to power 9. So from these two terms, by using these two terms, we can find the value of epsilon naught. So how we will find the epsilon naught? You can take this epsilon naught this side, and you will get 1 by 4 pi into 9 into 10 raised to power 9. Now calculate this value, and after calculating this, you will get 8.85 into 10 raised to power minus 12. So substitute here 4 as it is, 1 by 4, pi value is 3.14, and 9 into 10 raised to power 9. So after solving this, you will get 8.85 into 10 raised to power minus 12, and the SI unit is coulomb square per Newton per meter square. Earlier we derived this units. So this is the value of epsilon naught. This is for free space. The epsilon value for free space, you can say vacuum, or even for air it is approximately the same. So free space, for vacuum, and for air, what is the value of epsilon naught? 8.85 into 10 raised to power minus 12, and for different medium this value is different. Okay, so in the next video lecture we will see how can we calculate the epsilon value for water, for other dielectric medium, right? So we have to remember the value of epsilon naught to solve the numerical problem. So today we learn basically two values, two force constant. First one is the value of K. The value of K for CGS system, we can write here the value of K is equal to 1 for CGS system. But usually we have to deal with your SI system. So K is equal to 1 4 pi epsilon naught, and that value is equal to 9 into 10 raised to power 9. So whenever you have K or this thing, directly you can substitute 9 into 10 raised to power 9 in the numerical problem. And sometime if you have to substitute the value of epsilon naught, so you will use this formula, 8.85 into 10 raised to power minus 12. So these three terms and these three value you have to remember. Okay, so next we will discuss the Coulomb's law in the vector form. So let's start Coulomb's law in the vector form. So in the Coulomb's law in the vector form, you can see here there's a diagram, and in this diagram we have three coordinates, x axis, y and z. So let us consider we have two charged particles. First one is q1 and the second one is q2. We will draw a position vector. How to draw a position vector? We will draw an arrow from origin to the charge particle. So this red color line is a position vector for q1 charge, and r1 is the position vector name. Similarly, from O to q2 we will draw a line, that is red color line, that is a position vector of q2, and the name is r2. Let this q1 point is at A point, the name is A point, and for this one it is B point. Now suppose both charges are positively charged. So when positive charges are there is a force of repulsion. Now here the charge q2 is exerting force on charge q1. Okay, similarly charge q1 is exerting force on q2. So firstly we will calculate the force on charge q1. So let us consider the charge q2 exerting a force on charge q1. Okay, so let us this force, we will write the force on q1 charge, first particle. This is your first particle, so we write first force on first particle due to the second charge particle. Okay, and what will the position vector of this thing? So we will also write the position vector when the force acting on the first particle due to the second particle, that time you are moving from 2 to 1. The force direction is from B to A. So we will write from second to first. So we will write here second to first. It is moving from second to first. So we will put a arrow here. Okay, so this is a resultant of this triangle, this white color. So now how to calculate this distance, as we discussed even in the 11th standard in the vectors. So we will revise this thing again. As we know, we have a triangle. In triangle AOB, so we will use triangle of vector addition here. So as you know, and if two vectors are in the same cycling order and third one is in the opposite side, you have to draw. So this one you can compare here. These O to B and B to A are in the same cyclic order, and this arrow is in the opposite order. So this is your O, B and A. So you can write OB vector plus your BA vector is equal to third side. According to triangle law, the sum of the two vectors which are in the same cyclic order is equal to the third vector of the triangle which is in the opposite order. So what is your OB? OB, you can see the value of OB is R2. And what is your B to A? That is your R21. So you can write R21. What is your OA? OA is your R1. So from here you can write R21 is equal to R1 minus R2. Okay, it means you can write R21 is equal to R1 minus R2. So now we will write the formula for force. We will apply the Coulomb's law of force of interaction between two charged particles. So we will write here the force acting on the first particle due to the second particle is this one. This force is acting on the first particle, and we will write using Coulomb's law. As we know, Coulomb's law is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, or you can write even K. And Q1, Q2 are two charged particle, and what is the distance between these two? We are considering for this one, so you will write R21 square of this, and along with it we have to mention the direction, because we are writing in the vector form. So vector form, to write in the vector form we will use unit vector. Unit vector represent the direction of the force. So this is the direction of the force, so we will write a unit vector here. In the next step we can substitute the value of unit vector. So what is unit vector? Unit vector R21 is equal to vector divided by its magnitude. So we can write this thing as R2. So we can replace in the second equation F12 is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 R21 square, and what is this? You can replace this with this thing. So R21 and divide by R21. So in the next step you can write R cube. F12 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2. You can write this thing as R21, the cube of R21, and here R21. Now this is the one form. In this way we can write the force of attraction between two, or repulsion between two charged particle, in the vector form. Now in other form we can even write this expression. So in another form we will use this formula we already derived. So you can even write F12 is equal to 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 R. Now instead of writing R21 you can write R1 minus R2. Now this one is the magnitude form and this one is in the vector form. So we will not put vector because this is in the magnitude form. So we can write this thing as R1 minus R2. This is not visible, so I will write again. I hope this thing is clear up to here, so I am going to write again it. So now again I will write. So F12 is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2, and R21 you can write R1 minus R2. This is vector form, and but here it is magnitude form, so we'll put a modulus, mod sign, and here this is your cube, and this is in the vector form, so as it is we can write r2 1, sorry, this is r2 r1 minus r2, r1 minus r2. So this is in the vector form, so we substitute this thing. So similarly we will find the electrostatic force of attraction on the second charge particle due to the first one, force on second due to the first one. So here I wrote directly by changing the indices, and I will show you how to derive this one also. So now in this case the force acting on the second charge particle due to the first on the second charge particle due to the first particle is F21, and the direction of the force is from A to B, from 1 to 2. So I will write here R12, from 1 to 2, and the position vector direction will be this side. Now if you draw this separately, and this is your O, this is your B, and this is your, so again you will apply the triangle of vector addition. Now this one and this one in the same cyclic order, and this one is in the opposite direction, so you can write OA plus AB is equal to your OB. What is your OA? OA is your R1, this is your R2, so OA is your R1, AB is your R12, and OB is your R2. So it means you can write R12 is equal to R2 minus R1. So in the same manner, if you want to write in the magnitude forms, you can put the mod. So same procedure you will apply and you will get this values. Okay, so here your indices will change, and here R1 and R2 indices will change. Now as you know, two charges are applying force on each other, Q1 and Q2 are applying force on each other. So according to Newton's third law, and both are equal in magnitude, so in this case the force acting on the first particle is equal to the force acting on the second particle, but both are in the opposite direction, so it means it is following the Coulomb's law and it is in the opposite direction. So this is over the this is following the Coulomb's law, third law. Or if you want to write this thing in the same way, so you can take negative sign, you can rearrange this one. If you replace R1 with R2, so you have to put negative sign here. If you will put a negative sign here and you will get this thing. So in this way you can show the Coulomb's law also follow the Newton's third law of motion. So that's all for today. Thank you, students.